What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DG from DG Mindset. Welcome back. If it's your first time, make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you look at our public education system, we sometimes don't get taught things that we use, but we don't have an idea of what the thing is we're using. So here's the analogy I'll give you. Imagine me giving you a hammer and you don't know what this hammer's for. So now here you are using this hammer. You're hitting walls, you're hitting mirrors, you're using it to try and screw in screws instead of using it for nails of what it was actually used for. You're supposed to hit nails with the hammer. This is what we do with these 6 mind muscles, also called the 6 higher faculties of our mind. These are the tools that we use to build our life. But the problem is, you probably don't have any awareness of what they are. So now here you are using a hammer to go and hit windows with. That's not what a hammer was for. You stay with me. I'm going to teach you how to use these 6 tools, but more importantly, what these 6 tools actually are. Let's go ahead and dive in. So the first tool, arguably the most important, is your imagination. Your imagination is what allowed you as a human being to be able to think of something that had not yet physically occurred and then make it a physical reality. Your imagination was the ability to have future-based thoughts. Now, we know that through the law of gender, there's going to be a masculine and a feminine, a positive and a negative. Ask yourself, am I using my imagination on the positive end of creativity, of anticipation, of excitement? Or am I using it on the negative end of stress, fear, worry? These are all the same tool that's being used. It's just one's using on the positive end and one is using on the negative. So here's what we always tell kids. You gotta be realistic, Tommy. Make sure you're realistic. Have realistic goals. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The imagination had no boundaries. This is what you were supposed to live from. Look at the Wright brothers back in 1903. Nobody had ever flown a plane before. Nobody had ever defied the law of gravity. And now here this guy, these 2 brothers they're like, yo, we can do this. And imagine what everybody said to them. Imagine what everybody said when these 2 brothers were going to do something that had never been done before. This was the use of the imagination. Imagination was what was going to create your physical reality on the negative end and the positive end. And here's the thing about the imagination, the most important key. It has no boundaries. Nothing can confine the imagination. That's why your only limited life was the limits that was placed upon your imagination. You could literally be and do anything so long as you could see it in your mind. The second mind muscle, or your second tool in your mental tool belt, is memory. And here's what memory does. Memory allows us to invoke gratitude, of thankfulness, to keep us in a higher vibrational state so we can continue to consciously create and manifest what we desire in our life. So by you being in a state of gratitude, you are using memory. You're looking back at where you were. These are past generated thoughts. You're thinking about where you were and then experiencing the gratefulness and thankfulness in the present moment. Where we get in trouble is sometimes mentally we're in the past, but physically we're in the present. And this is going to create regret. This is going to create shame. You will feel depression. This is what happens when we're not using memory in a positive light. We're using it on the negative polarity, which brings us to the third one. Reason. Reason is a tool in your tool belt that you use every single day, but you can strengthen this muscle. You can strengthen and sharpen this tool by you doing word puzzles, by you doing playing Sudoku, by you playing chess. Doing this will allow you to strengthen the higher faculty of your mind of reason, which allows you now to have more intelligence, to have higher intellect. So now you can rearrange all of this infinite knowledge that is already out here. So I'll give you a perfect example. When I go to my son's 4th grade class and they have the alphabet on the wall, it has A through Z already up there. Every word in the English dictionary is already within those 26 letters. But we have to use reason and intelligence and intellect to scramble it to make words. So this is why reading is super important. The more books you read, the more you will strengthen this faculty of reason. So now let's go into the next one. Something called intuition. Intuition. You hear that? Intuition. When we go to college, we pay tuition. Tuition is what you pay to learn. Your teacher is inside of you. Intuition, your inner teacher. This is the higher faculty or the mind muscle, the mind tool that allows you to tap into your teacher that already knows everything. So you have to understand you live on 3 different planes of existence simultaneously: the spiritual, mental, physical. The physical plane, you are confined and bound by space and time. On the mental and spiritual plane though, you transcend space and time, meaning all possibilities already exist. So when you tap into intuition, meaning you listen to what your heart is telling you, you're actually tapping into the highest plane, the causal plane, the spiritual plane, and you'll already know what you need to do. So here's the thing. Intuition speaks very quietly. It's that still small voice. This was why it was important for you to take time to be still each day. Every morning before I get up, I make sure I take time to be quiet so I can learn what my intuitive voice sounds like. So now when we're in the hustle and bustle of life, I know when my inner teacher is speaking. And I know to trust it because I know what its voice sounds like. For the longest part of my life, I never knew what that voice was. So we would ignore it. It's kind of like that the cartoon that you see. You know when we see the cartoon and we have that inner voice, kind of like what Jiminy Cricket was for Pinocchio. This is our intuition. We got to make sure that we listen to it, but you can only hear it when you're quiet. Which leads us to the next mind muscle, and this is perception. Perception is the lens of how you view experiences, which determine how you experience your life. So here's the easiest way to think of it. Perception determines how I experience this situation, and how I experience the situation is what I call my reality. So really, my reality is based upon how I view it. So this is why I tell you there is no such thing as anything being good or bad. It's not anything until you say so. That's the power that you have. So your life is literally based on how you choose to view it. Problem is with most of us, we're unconsciously viewing it based on how we have been taught by our parents, our society, our religion, our political affiliation, our culture. We're being taught how to view situations automatically because we're not taking control and we have a weak perception muscle. When you strengthen this, now you can look at situations how you need to look at it. So I don't look at situations as being good or bad. If this situation was not what I desired, here's the first thing I ask. What is this teaching me? So now what I've just done is I've just transmuted the energy of this negative situation and turned it so it could be used as a positive because it taught me what not to do. We all have this ability, we all have this power, which brings us to the last mind muscle, the last tool in your mental tool belt, willpower. Willpower. This is what will make your dreams become a reality. This is what makes the unseen become seen. Human beings have this amazing ability. No other creature has this. We have the ability to will something, to put forth energy and effort to bring it into existence. I don't care what your goals are. You're going to have to use the higher faculty of mind of willpower. So many people that I see, they have these big grandiose goals at the beginning of the year. And then by June, those goals are just a fleeting moment. And the reason why is because their willpower muscle was weak. Sometimes we'll look at children and be like, oh, that kid's spoiled. You know what that means? They have a weak willpower muscle. They don't know how to keep working and keep holding that same thought even when it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So if you give up easily when life gets hard or things don't go the way you want, it's because your willpower muscle is underdeveloped. We need to go back in and sharpen that willpower tool in your tool belt. And here's how you do it. By consciously doing things that you don't really want to do. So if I can get up every morning, if I can meditate, if I can do breath work, if I can journal, even when I don't want to, if I can work out and eat the way I'm supposed to, even when I don't want to, I can do this consciously. I am developing my muscle of willpower. So now, when it's time for me to manifest and create what it is in my life that I want, even when it looks like it's not going to happen, my willpower muscle will keep me going. Do you see how this works? So these are the 6 tools that you have in your mental tool belt, also known as the 6 higher faculties of your mind, also known as the 6 mind muscles. So here's my question, here's my challenge. Are you strengthening these tools? Are you strengthening these mind muscles? Or are you letting these mind muscles just waste in the wind? We all have the ability. I challenge you in 2023 to start sharpening up your tools, to start strengthening up these muscles, and to create the life that you desire. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. And until next time, be good.